Let's talk about our latest collection, Deus Regit, which is Latin for God rules. God rules was the mantra of one of my ancestors, Lydia Knight, and she lived by those words. Deus Regit is actually a follow-up to an earlier collection piece called the Celestial, which is probably one of our more iconic pieces with the blazing sun and the contrast with night and day, the blazing sun on the cap and the moon and stars on the barrel. Deus Regit, you'll see the correlation, but I'm going to try to walk you through all of the components of this very special piece. At the top of the crown of the cap here, among the clouds, it is solid white, and that's intentional. That symbolizes purity. God can't look upon sin with the least degree of allowance. Okay, so that is all white. No sin can exist where God dwells. You have God here in the heavens, and there's a sunburst in guilloche work behind God in the heavens and the clouds, and then around the sides here, behind the clouds in the sky, are ascending angels with trumps, praising God's glory. You'll have to get in closely and look underneath there because some of them are interrupted by the sunbursts and the clouds, but they are all there. You've got different colors here of enamel, 4 colors on each cap. White, yellow, gray, and then a mossy black or a blue or some of the other colors. We've talked about this before, that blending enamel is very tricky because the metal oxides that we use to color the enamel have temperature tolerances. We have to be very careful not to burn the cooler oxides when we're firing the hotter colors. Around the back is God's scepter, and you'll notice in the hilt there's a very nice diamond set right in there, and that's intentional because it represents not only God's light, but God's power, that He rules ultimately over all. And as you look down where the barrel starts, you'll notice that God's influence even rules into the other realm where the adversary dwells. Now you've got the adversary, the devil, down here represented by the serpent. There are 2 ruby eyes in the serpent representing his power, which is real, but it will never be stronger or more powerful than the power of God. God will always prevail and always rule. That's what's important to remember. So these sunbursts extend down into the lower realm. The guilloche pattern ascending up, these are flames that ascend up forever and ever. But if you look very closely, these flames will triangulate. And the triangulation is intentional because it forms what looks like the shape of a head of a goat, which is also a symbol of the adversary. Underneath the adversary here, this is intentional also, is an opaque black. And that represents an outer darkness or the absence of all light where Satan will ultimately dwell. Looking at the gripping section is probably my favorite part. It is divided, this spiral is divided in 2 halves. On one half, you have a sunburst, representing a paradise. On the other half, you have prison bars, representing a spiritual prison. Again, 18-karat nib on the fountain pen can be a rollerball also. I really love this piece. It's very personal for me. It kind of sums up our existence and our purpose and our goals.